All right, so before I was rudely interrupted. So last episode, I made a video called "Why Traders Can't Accept Losing," right? And last week, I did exactly what I told you guys not to do. I was about $700 away from passing my funding challenge, and instead of continuing to trade how I usually trade, and basically trading exactly, you know, like doing what I did to get me there, right? I started trading the finish line. I got aggressive. I revenge traded and ended up giving back almost all my progress, right? And all my profit, right? Instead of hiding this, I figured that we should talk about it, right? Because I don't think I'm the only trader that's experienced this, has been through this, and probably won't be the last. So hopefully my experience and this video can help you so you don't repeat the same thing, right? But exactly what happened, right? And why did that happen? So I think it was like last week, Thursday, I believe. How rude, bro. Jesus Christ. Anyways, so I believe it was like last week, Thursday. And from looking back now, two things that I did wrong or did bad was rushing. I took an early setup, right? I think the setup, I got into the trade like around like 7:45. I usually don't trade that early. Like I've traded earlier like that before in the past, but with market conditions, usually I'm taking a trade right now between 8, 8:30, 9, 10 o'clock, right? So 7:45 is pretty early, for me and my setup and what I typically like to see. But I had a lot of things going on that day. I had a couple of errands that I needed to run in the morning time, so it wasn't going to allow me to sit down and look at my computer screen. So I decided to get into the trade early and try and monitor and manage it from my phone, which in hindsight is a big no-no, right? Because trying to drive while looking at your phone for a trade, especially when you're trading on a smaller time frame like the 5-minute, the 15, and the hour, big no-no, right? And I usually don't ever do that. I've traded on my phone before, right, where I've gotten to a trade, marked it up, and either entered on my phone or exited from my phone. But in this particular situation, it wasn't ideal. It wasn't the best thing to do, because not only was I not in a situation where if I wanted to kind of like edit or change or fix my position, I really wouldn't be able to. It's kind of like I'm stuck with what I put on the trade. It just didn't really make sense. But what it was that I was so close to the finish line and I wanted to hit it, right? I literally thought that day, hindsight looking back now, that day when I sat at my computer screen, I'm like, yo, I'm like $700 away from passing. I could pass this literally today. That was a big mistake, right? That was not the right way of thinking, because thinking like that is like you're kind of chasing for that finish line. You're trying to reach that target, then just trading consistently like how you were. So I'm not gonna lie, it demotivated the crap out of me for making videos, because I'm like, wow, that super duper sucks, being $700 away, then now to be back at the finish line. So I had to be real myself, right, and ask myself a couple of questions, right? Some things I asked myself was, well, first thing is, am I actually profitable, right? Am I actually profitable? I wouldn't determine me being profitable and not being profitable from this one incident. And the reason being, a profitable trader isn't someone who never revenge trades or never blows an account or blows progress. It's someone whose edge and risk management plus execution produces positive expectancies over a meaningful sample size, right? And I literally said it in my last video. So the fact that looking at my P&L, looking at my track record, if I would say if I took 12 trades, 8 of those trades were winners and successful and good, and 4 of them were the destroyers, right? Were the account murderers, I guess. I don't know. I gotta just laugh at it, because I'm like, wow, like I feel like I've had this experience before, and it's been such a long time since that's happened, right? Because I've been adamant on being like disciplined and having healthy skepticism with my trades. So the way that it played out was crazy. The first setup that I got into early, right, at 7:45, it actually was going in my favor, right? I was deep into profit, very close to hitting my hitting my take profit, and then in reverse, it started going against me, right, and end up losing. And I'm like, yo, what the heck, right? But I guess it was very early in the trading day. It was trying to build up for the actual move that it was trying to do. So I got into a second setup very shortly after that, and the second setup won, right? But I risked a little bit lighter than the first trade because I was like, wow, I did not need an unnecessary loss, right? Because I risked just a little bit more, right? Usually I'll trade 2 contracts, risk 3 contracts just so I could hit that $700 target, right? Loss. So I'm like, wow, I lost more than I was typically expecting to lose, and then I risked a little bit less on my winning setup. So I'm like, okay, well, that kind of sucks. And it's still pretty early in the trading day, right? And this is why the very first setup was a no-no, right? Trading that early isn't necessarily bad, but the fact that I didn't secure profits and I wasn't in a location or a situation where I could be focused to kind of see the bigger picture, right? When you're on your phone, you can't really see all of the time frames. You can't switch back and forth compared to being on a computer screen with a mouse. So I feel as though if I did see that, I probably would have just secured my profits on the first setup and walked away with a green day. But instead of doing that, I decided to try and hold the trade, expecting it to go down more. And then that's what reversed and made that winning trade become a loser. And then my second setup won, but it didn't win enough for me to be satisfied. And as I'm looking, I see a potential third setup, right, on a different pair. I believe it was on NASDAQ, that can not only make me my money back, but plus some. So now I will be green from my starting balance. So if I started at 52,036, I'll probably maybe be at 54,400 or 500, right? Instead of 300. So I'm like, okay, cool, bet. I'm gonna take this setup. And almost exactly like the very first setup, I'm deep into profit. I'm going in. It's in my favor. And then out of nowhere, I don't know if it was Trump, I don't know if it was news, because there was no news reporting on Forex Factory, but out of nowhere, the most massive candle that you have that you've ever seen within 3 minutes, right? And not only am I not in profit, but I'm in deep drawdown. And on the third setup, because I wanted to make my money back plus a little bit more, I decided to risk 4 contracts. That was, I think, where the nail was in the coffin, right? By whatever that saying or quote is. Because at that point, it's like, damn, I'm super fucked. I'm red when I was green 2 times, right? So took a bigger hit on the third trade than I was even expected or wanting to. And in the fourth setup, at that point, I was kind of knee deep off the edge. I wanted to not only make my money back, but at least be at break even. And then the market was moving super duper weird, where I got into my setup. I was green a little bit, but then it started reversing and ended up just closing the trade red more than before. So it was like, okay, well, I'm literally just chopping away at my account at this point. So let me just stop here. So thank God I didn't blow the accounts, right? I'm just basically back at the starting point, but it still sucks because it's like, well, a lot of this could have been avoided if I was focused, if I was patient, and if I also wasn't so hastily looking to finish and get to the finish line before it was naturally gonna happen. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, man, definitely sucks, but I realized that, it definitely sucks, but I realized being capable of profitable trading isn't necessarily the same as currently being profitable, right, in this moment. And knowing that I didn't lose over 10 or 15 gradual trades, right? So it's not like my strategy sucks. It's not like I can't trade. It's I need to not give a large portion of that back on 2 to 3 setups. You see what I'm saying? Because overall, right, I'm net green. Overall, I'm winning more than I'm losing. And that's actually very useful data. It makes me realize that my biggest mistake now is not finding winning trades anymore. it may be just eliminating the damage that I'm doing to myself whenever I become emotionally compromised. So this week I'm going to be, of course, still trading these funded challenges, right, to pass them. I took a break for the past 2 days, not necessarily like not trading. I'm still looking at the charts, but I'm not actively looking to place trades. And the market really wasn't giving us anything anyway, right? Monday was trash. Tuesday, I was running and ripping. So after Thursday's loss, I realized I'm not going to do that again. Not going to run errands while I'm trading or from my phone. Fuck that. It's either one or the other, right? You can't play where you work and you can't work where you play. And then Wednesday, the market didn't give us anything either. It actually gave us a fake out, and thank God we did not get in Wednesday, because it literally faked us out. It literally wicked down, gave us our entry, and then pushed right back up. And from seeing that and being more healthy, having skepticism, I didn't get in, and I'm glad I didn't, because it literally just reversed and blew through the zone. And then Thursday was a great trade on gold. We caught a sell and made $450. So the fact that I was able to make $450 after taking that loss last week, not only did it give me my confidence back, but also it made me realize that, yeah, you are profitable, bro. You just have to catch yourself whenever you're in those spiraling moments where it's like, okay, this might not be the perfect setup or situation for you to trade. And Thursday was a learning lesson. So we're going to get right back into these markets next week. And yeah, man, hopefully very soon we could be trading 5 funded accounts. So yeah, with that being said, man, if you like this content, comment, like, share, send this to a fellow trader or someone else who's trying to learn how to invest or trade into the Forex and futures market. And with that being said, it's your boy Hugh Huncho. Until the next video, I'm out. Peace.